Then we tried to investigate deeper into the efficiency of loyalty programs by trying to optimize vectors such as the time. What is better, to offer immediate rewards or delayed rewards or both? Probably you will prefer immediate rewards. The firm prefers delayed rewards. So there has to be found in the middle, because the more you delay the rewards, the more you will make the customer loyal. But the more you also will deflate the motivation.
As we have seen, if you have to wait 2 years to get a reward, then the motivation will be certainly deflated.
And the customer will be dismotivated. In the investigation, we tried to see how to optimize the time factor. The next factor is tangible versus intangible. Is it better to get physical gifts, or is it better to get services or material? It depends on the customer, but it probably depends also on the sector. In some sectors, it makes sense to have material rewards. In some sectors, it makes sense to have immaterial rewards. And finally, compatibility. Does it make sense to offer all and everything without any relationship to the brand? For example, for the merchandise catalogs you have in petrol stations, where you can have a coffee machine or a bike or first aid set. Is it better to offer, as for example in the cosmetic stores, cosmetics or beauty services which are related with the brand? And we had a moderating variable, involvement. Involvement, it's actually the importance of the sector, the risk we perceive when we purchase in the sector.
Involvement is a
moderating variable that should increase or decrease the impact of independent variables. And we measured then the impact of these rewards on utility and the value of the loyalty program, subsequently on loyalty. But before explaining the investigation, what are we talking about? Time is a illusionary progress to obtain a reward, which might be less or more long. The shorter the time, the more we have the capacity to understand the progress to get the reward. The longer the time, the more we lose the reality, and the more we are unable to understand when we get the reward, and we will lose motivation. So we hypothesized that when we buy high-value products, for example, cosmetics, get an airline ticket, then we are probably more motivated to stay more time. So delayed rewards might be perceived better than, for example, in grocery retail, where we're doing frequently shopping and where we have very small value rewards. In high involvement situations such as airline or cosmetics, probably delayed rewards are, I would not say preferred, but are more acceptable. Whereas in low involvement situations such as grocery retail, immediate rewards are probably preferred.
Tangibility is the level of abstraction of the reward. They can be tangible or intangible, or material or immaterial.
Materials are tangible, benefits are discounts or vouchers. Intangible rewards are psychological, relational, emotional, preferential treatment, status, service, entertainment, priority, and check-in. In grocery retail, we've hypothesized that tangible rewards are preferred because less abstract and more preferred. And Q compatibility is the coherence, the overlap with the brand association, the positioning of a program sponsor. So the higher the coherence, the more the reward is brand compatible. Q compatibility should, in high involvement situations such as airline or cosmetics, customers probably value more rewards with high Q compatibility. Whereas low involvement situations such as grocery retail, customers probably are not really valuing the Q compatibility. On some points about Q compatibility, you have to distinguish between mono-sponsor programs and coalition programs. Mono-sponsor programs are highly Q compatible because they only focus on the brand. For example, Carrefour and Leclerc are clearly mono-sponsor programs because you only can gain miles or money or rewards in the focal stores. On the other hand, programs such as Smiles, Casino, or in Germany Payback are multi-sponsor programs because you have multiple number of brands and stores which are behind them. Opportunities for customers to win rewards. Mono-sponsor, you can only win rewards in the focal store. Multi-sponsor or coalition program means that you can win rewards not only in one store but in a large number of stores. Air Miles is a coalition program together with Canadian air retailers, with Baseline Station, with American Express. So it's a
multi-sponsor program.
American Airlines Advantage is also a multi-sponsor program. They have more than 3,000 sponsors that offer the opportunity to win miles.
Multi-sponsor program.
They have a common currency. You can win miles at Air Canada, you can use it at Shell, or you can use it at Safeway. You can use it wherever you want. You can win the miles wherever you want, and you can use the miles wherever you want.
Within a mono-sponsor program, there's only one brand behind and sponsoring the program.
Coalition or multi-sponsor programs are programs that integrate different sponsors, which might be from the same sector, so competitors, but they might also be non-competitors in order to enhance the offer, the value. For example, if you take Advantage, American Airlines, you have clearly all the airlines, which are partners in the airline alliance or Star Alliance. You have the partners Lufthansa, Thai Airways, Singapore Airlines, and other airlines, which are competitors. So you can accumulate miles partner airlines, but they've also partnerships with hotel banks in order to offer credit cards and a lot of stores in which you can convert the miles into merchandise. Both have advantages and disadvantages. For a brand, you share the cost. So proportionally, it's less expensive for a brand. A coalition program might have heterogeneous partners. So in terms of positioning, it might be challenging because you don't really know who are your target groups, what are they searching for. So it might be challenging in terms of targeting and positioning. It's challenging also in terms of cost because you have to see how to share the cost. Do you have to spread the cost according to the turnover of the partner firms? Or how can you dispatch or divide the cost on the different partners? So it might be complicated to calculate how to share the cost. For a brand, it's less expensive because you share the cost. If you have a mono-sponsor program, the disadvantages are that the program management is taken over only by the focal brand. And this might be excessive. For example, Carrefour, 100 million euros, has to be supported only by the brand Carrefour, by the store Carrefour. The mono-sponsor program positioning is an advantage because you can give the positioning of your brand to the program, which brings me to the idea of queue compatibility. You can actually position the program in the same manner than you position your brand. Which brings me to another idea of control of the data. Coalition programs, it's difficult who is controlling the data, because if data is collected by Lufthansa, do you think that Singapore Airlines should have access to this data? No, because it's the data of Lufthansa. But it would make sense. Then you could raise up an overall CRM structure. But actually, companies are still reasoning in kind of silos. They don't want to share the data. It could be an argument for a multi-sponsor program, but in reality, firms do not share the data. Who should have access to the data? The mono-sponsor program is not an issue because the mono-sponsor is controlling the data and is doing with data what he wants. A last question, what do you think in terms of loyalty? To what are you loyal? What is your level of loyalty? Are you loyal to Lufthansa or are you loyal to other airlines? Are you loyal to the program? Or on the other hand, Carrefour, we have only one sponsor. What is the level of loyalty? The program becomes determinant, and I come back to my initial question.
Within a mono-sponsor program, there's only one brand behind and sponsoring the program.
There we create a kind of loyalty to the brand. We are loyal to the brand, but the program creates even more loyalty, so the loyalty to the program, which becomes a loyalty to the program. So if you have a coalition program, like Payback in Germany or Deutschlandcard, or in France we have Smiles, we create a program loyalty without brand loyalty. Because actually we don't know who is behind Payback or which brand is behind Payback. So you actually become a collector of points. You don't become more loyal, for example in Germany, to Real or to Edeka through the Deutschlandcard, because it's one of the numerous stores. So from the company point of view, the coalition programs are not very interesting because they create program loyalty, which is spurious, which means that once you get a gift, you might change behavior because you are not attached to the brand. So you don't have attitudinal loyalty. So that is why coalition programs create spurious brand loyalty to the program and not to the brand. Whereas mono-sponsor programs create program loyalty, but also brand loyalty, because you can become loyal to the program, but the program is positioned and compatible with the positioning of the brand. And so brand loyalty is enhanced through program loyalty, which becomes brand loyalty. So in other words, coalition programs are diluting brand loyalty because there are so many sponsors and all what you create is opportunistic behavior. People are using the card to have more points, to get merchandise in the partner stores, but they do not become more loyal to the brand. In summary, what are the advantages of coalition programs? So from the consumer point of view, it's interesting because you can gather and multiply opportunities to get more points. For the sponsor, they have lower costs because the costs are shared, what we said. And theoretically, there should be better customer data because if you really share the data, then you have a whole picture about the customer journey. On the other hand, the problem is how to distribute and share the cost on profits. Who has the ownership of the data? Who can use it? The multi-sponsor programs are not operated by the retailers or the brands. There's actually a big data CRM firm behind who is managing. For example, Smiles, a firm called Laser, which is actually Galerie Lafayette, so there's a department store behind. In Germany, you have Payback, is operated by Loyalty Partner, which is actually consulting firm, CRM consulting firm, that is managing all. They're doing also the analysis. A multi-sponsor program might be fitting also for brands who don't have know-how in CRM, because everything is externalized. The CRM approach is really standardized. It works well for brands who don't want to invest in CRM. So where does the customer loyalty level really lies? You probably create more program loyalty, but you don't really become loyal to the brand. That is, or the different brands which are. Whereas if you have the Carrefour card,
a mono-sponsor program,
then you might be loyal to Carrefour. And the card gives you a supplementary motivation to become loyal to the brand. And so if you want to create really brand loyalty, I would rather recommend mono-sponsor programs, even if multi-sponsor programs are more interesting for customers, but you don't achieve really brand loyalty. If the money is limited to create a mono-sponsor program, then the only option is a multi-sponsor program because there the costs are shares, but then you don't create loyalty to the brand, but loyalty to the program, which is spurious. Another important factor is involvement. So in some sectors, cards work better because they're more involved. Involvement, the importance or the relevance of the product category or the purchase for the customer. A banal purchase in retail is generally a less involved purchase. A purchase, a gift, perfume in a perfumery is a highly involved purchase because it's more costly. As it is a gift, you're highly involved because you want to make pleasure. A car purchase is a highly involved purchase act. A purchase act of a bottle of water is a low involvement purchase act. It is associated with perceived risk, financial risk, but also social risk. And if you buy a smartphone, involvement is high because you have financial risk. The risk of the purchase is very high. The smartphone costs between 5 to 1,000 euros. You don't want to make the wrong choice. That is why customers stay loyal, because they don't want to take the risk to switch. Why customers stay loyal to Apple and don't switch to Samsung or LG? Because they don't want to take the risk that they might be dissatisfied with a new brand. There are also exit barriers, technical exit barriers. Customers have learned to work within an ecosystem, such as Apple. They stay loyal through, which we call switching costs, because there are learning effects. To come back to the loyalty programs operate in low involvement markets are less efficient than programs in high involvement markets. Once you are in a frequent flyer program, as an explorer member or low tier member, you're less involved because you have less advantages and you spend less money. As a high tier, you're more involved because you have more interesting and advantages and obviously risk also to lose your state. So that is why you're more involved. When considering efficiency of marketing actions, operations, you should always consider involvement of the sector in which you work. In order to check for hypothesis, we did different surveys. So it's an investigation done in a perfumery with high involvement and grocery retail. So we have a kind of high variance to see if, according to different involvement situations, the efficiency of loyalty programs or the results of our studies are different. Here again, it's the same target to increase external validity by doing the study in two completely different sectors. Grocery retailer with low involvement, perfumery with high involvement, as you can see, on a scale between 1 to 5. The involvement in the perfumery is 4.5, so people are much more involved in perfumery, 1.6 in grocery retail. Actually, we have differences of involvement. We did an experimentation with 8 fictive loyalty programs where we asked respondents to rank them according to their preference. We used then a conjoint analysis to measure loyalty. We used the Juster scale. What is the probability that you will choose this program on a scale between 0 to 10? And involvement was measured with Tchaikovsky scale, which is the current scale to measure involvement. So what did we find? There are differences. Tangible rewards have a highly positive effect in grocery retail, so low involvement situations, also in the high involvement situation, but less. In low involvement situation, material rewards are preferred because the main advantage in retail is to decrease the price. Discounts, tangible discounts, are more preferred than in a perfumery chain. That's a positive impact. Intangible, immaterial rewards have a lower impact in grocery retail, which is actually the case. Intangible rewards have a negative impact on loyalty, but less negative in the perfumery. In terms of compatibility, so with the brand, actually in the grocery retail, it's not significant. In other words, if the reward is compatible with the brand image or not, actually has no importance for the customer. But this is important in a high involvement. If we get gifts which are compatible with the brand image, for example, the perfumery, if we get a cosmetic gift, a perfume, or beauty device, then it is had a high positive impact on loyalty. Which shows that in high involvement situation, if you give gifts which are coherent to the brand image, it has a positive. Or if in the airline sector you give air tickets, it's highly coherent to the positioning of the brand, of the airline. If you give a video disc about the action movie, then it's not coherent and would have a negative impact on loyalty. In high involvement situations, compatibility is important. And we see in grocery retail, immediate rewards have a high positive impact. Delayed rewards have a high negative impact. In perfumery, it's not significant, which shows that actually customers are more ready to have delayed rewards in high involvement situations because they are aware that the gifts have a higher value and that they have to spend more time or money to get these high value rewards. So, summary, there are different sector differences. So, tangible rewards are better in low involvement situations, whereas intangible rewards services are better in high involvement situations. Strong compatibility is not an important matter for argument in low involvement situations, whereas it is important in high involvement situations. And finally, immediate rewards are preferred in low involvement situations, whereas delayed rewards are less harmful in high involvement situations. Why in high involvement situations the results are like that? Because the utility comes from the brand. Buy a brand in a perfumery store because of the brand character, and probably less because of the loyalty program. And that is why enhancing the value proposition of a brand through a loyalty program makes sense, because you will have a kind of brand loyalty plus program loyalty brings higher loyalty. Two compatible rewards are important because, again, with the positioning, you want to have high goal congruity. And delayed and immediate rewards not really harming for the loyalty. In low involvement situations, the utility comes more from the reward, and we come back to the idea of coalition programs. So you create more program loyalty and less brand loyalty because the brands are few differences. So actually, there's no difference if you buy in Leclerc or Carrefour or any other retailer. So the only kind of loyalty that you can create is a kind of program loyalty by collecting data of the customer. So tangible rewards are preferred, and so discounts and vouchers. Compatibility does not play any role, and immediate rewards are actually highly preferred because customers want to have immediately, quickly discounts, even if they have fewer well.
If you want to read more details about this research, please read our article Effects of Loyalty Program Rewards on Store Loyalty, published in Journal of Retailing and Consumer Service.